Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 75 today, 3/4 of the way to 100.
Man, that 100th episode, we are going to have to do something
Episode
special.
50 was like a month ago, it feels like. That was all the way on Halloween. Wow, that's crazy.
50 was Halloween with Scuba and Willie.
Wow, that's so weird.
We need to have a huge episode for, I don't know what we're going to do for
I don't know.
100.
I mean, we have a while. It probably will be another, because how many months goes that? 3 months ago? So it won't be till it's warm out, but...
It'll probably be like a 7-hour episode. That's probably what we'll have to do.
We'll see. But today is going to be a pretty jam-packed episode. We're going to be talking, obviously the Matt Stafford trade is kind of old news by now, but we did our episode the Saturday morning before that, so we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. We're going to be talking a lot about that. Talking about the Super Bowl because this Saturday we're going to be doing our second Jeopardy episode. So we'll be talking a lot about the Super Bowl today. And then we're going to be doing our All-Star picks for the NBA and just talking about the NBA in general. So
yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
A lot of this could be a long episode.
And I think this is a fun episode.
I think
so
we
have
too.
So much fun stuff to talk
because
about.
I like I would consider this being a list of some
List-ish,
sort.
yeah.
And I just like the super difficult list because the All-Star picks were difficult.
So hard.
But let's get right into the news. Hop right into it. There isn't much on the news today, but the first thing is been all over social media. If you've gone on Twitter at all yesterday, all my timeline was just entirely about this. College football, EA Sports, NCAA football game is going to be back. Hasn't been around since NCAA football 14 with Denard Robinson on the cover. But it's going to be back. That's pretty much all we know. We don't really have any other details. They said that within the next couple, it just said in the future, you will see the next game. So we don't know if that means this fall we're going to have NCAA football 22. Probably not, but super exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. It's just great to have a college football game again that we can play.
Yeah, and
I
it's
can
so
go in
fun.
and be the quarterback and take Joe Milton's spot.
Mm-hmm. I love.
Or I can play with Peyton Smith. Who knows?
I don't know how they're going to do everything with as far as players being paid. I don't know if the names are going to be in there because certain states have certain rules about, Michigan recently, you can now be an athlete and get paid before professionally. So I doubt the players' names will be in the game, kind of like how it used to be, but still, it's just going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
Super exciting news. Joe Burrow and Kyler Murray both want to be on the cover of that thing, of the first one, which they probably won't be, but
no, but they probably should be. Like, I'm thinking if you're gonna bring it back, you got to have
they should just make a bunch of different covers of all the guys that they missed. All the Heisman
Baker
winners.
Mayfield, Lamar.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel.
Oh my money, Manziel! I'd have that cover.
I feel like they can't put him on the cover.
Yeah, yeah, you probably should.
But anyways, I'm just super excited for that. Next, the NBA All-Star Game looks like it is going to be coming back. March 7th is the date where they are. It's not confirmed yet or anything, but it's looking like it's going to happen. There is going to be an All-Star Game March 7th, along with the skills challenges, and I assume that means three-point and dunk contest as well, all on the same night, though, however, not on over multiple days like it usually is.
What do you
think about this?
Is there going to be a rookie-sophomore game?
I don't know. Probably not.
Or Rising Stars, what I meant, because...
Yeah,
probably not.
USA.
If it's all one night,
I doubt there will.
You can't really do that.
But I mean, the All-Star Game, there's been a lot of talks that this should and shouldn't happen because of COVID and everything. Hopefully by March 7th, things are doing well. I mean, obviously things are going pretty well right now. March 7th is coming up, by the way.
No, it's a month away.
That is a month away. That does not really feel like it. We're already all the way through January. But things are going pretty smoothly in the NBA right now. Not many games have been getting postponed lately, so hopefully, especially by then, things are going really smoothly, and there isn't many issues with them having the All-Star Game.
Yeah, I'm really excited that they announced this, because I assume they'd still do All-Star selections, just no game.
And that was the original plan.
But after last year's All-Star game? Yeah, last year's.
Super awesome.
I just don't remember if they even had it. That game was awesome. It was actually competitive and fun.
In honor of Kobe and everything. So
they just need to continue that. That needs to be the way.
Yeah, and I don't know how the format's going to work. I've heard the rumors that they're going to go back to regular East-West instead of the draft thing. So I don't know. I don't know how the scoring format. I do too. But it also makes it weird that there's that this East and West still are how the All-Stars are picked. It should just be 24 dudes. Instead of East, if you're going to do it like that, So, last thing on the news, some quick MLB news. Last year, the MLB Players Association and then just the MLB in general had a lot of disagreements as far as how they were going to do their COVID season. And this year, once again, the MLB proposed an offer to the Players Association of a shortened season, 154-game season, only 8 games less than the regular MLB season, which is 162. But the MLBPA rejected MLB's offer of that, so they are going to have a regular season starting on April 29th.
So they're just having the same amount of games.
162, yeah.
That's odd that the Players Association didn't want less.
Well, I think there was I assume there was some other things in that too, but that's kind of just what headlined this proposal.
Yep.
And it would have had a later season start as well, so I think they just want to play.
Yeah, yep, that makes sense too. I mean, I'm surprised that baseball had as many issues with COVID as it did last year.
Yeah, and then it was weird though because
they had the worst issues and they're fine.
And then out of nowhere they just like figured it out, and there was nothing until the random thing with Justin Turner in the World Series where he literally got COVID in the middle of the World Series game.
That was nuts.
Which was really weird. But other than that, I mean, things ended pretty smoothly in the MLB.
And they should. I mean, it's basically a non-contact sport. I mean,
yeah, outdoor sport.
You're never touching each other.
Not a lot of contact. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to handle.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd think at least especially compared to football and basketball.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
mainly basketball. So are we ready to hop into the first topic of the day?
Yeah.
Which is Mathew Stafford getting traded. This was Saturday night was easily the most mixed emotions night I've ever had because I expected to be more sad. Like going into it, I was like, all right, when Stafford gets traded, like I know it's for the better, but wow, it's just gonna be so sad. But like seeing the package that we got back was really making me like, I'm like super excited.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really that sad. Like
No.
I love Stafford, but I like what we did.
And not only that, my sadness that we lost him was like over, like my happiness covered all that sadness for Stafford.
Yeah, that too.
Just the whole situation was perfect for Stafford to finally go out there and prove what he's actually worth. You know, he's got a lot to prove now. He was traded for a first-round pick, 2 first-round picks, and a third.
Yeah.
That's a lot to prove. Yeah, that's a big, hefty trade to trade for somebody. So I'm really happy for Stafford. I'm happy with the package we got back. I don't think we could have found a better, like this is almost a perfect trade.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like it's probably gonna hit me more once Stafford takes the field in a Rams jersey, or once Jared Goff takes the field, or whoever is the starting. I assume it will be Jared Goff. Because I've never had a different quarterback other than Matthew Stafford as a Lions fan ever. Like I didn't watch the Lions in 2007. I was 5. I mean, I probably did, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
So like, obviously Stafford has been hurt a couple times, but like he's always been my quarterback. I've never had a different one. So it's gonna be really weird. But let's talk about the trade package. So if you did not know, Matthew Stafford got traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Only him going to the Rams. But what Detroit is getting back is Jared Goff, first of all, which I just want to say, like, really, I don't think is that bad. Like, I really think Jared Goff still has time to prove himself in Detroit. Jared Goff is only 26 years old. He's only played 5 years in the league. And he's been to a Super Bowl, you know. I mean, something that Matthew Stafford has never done. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game. Trust me, I'm not blaming it on him in any way, but you know, it's a risky move by the Rams. We also get their unprotected, or not. I mean, there isn't no protection in football, but 2022 and 2023 first round picks in back-to-back years, and we are also getting their third round pick in this year's draft.
So back to what you said about Jared Goff not being a bad quarterback. I have no problem this year of just letting him play, letting him start, and if he's bad, then we go get a quarterback later. There's no rush to get a good quarterback right now.
Yeah, there's no rush to drafting a quarterback at pick 7 that you don't like, and that's honestly why
I'm okay with Jared Goff.
I think that's the mindset for the Lions, is that okay, maybe they don't think they can get their franchise QB at pick 7 because obviously the top 2 are. I mean, the number 1 quarterback, obviously Trevor Lawrence, and then Zach Wilson. But then after that, it's just kind of like, do we trust Justin Fields? Do we trust Trey Lance? Let's not force ourselves into taking one here.
I really don't want them to take a quarterback this year.
I don't think they will, especially after this trade. I would be shocked if they did. A reason why we got so much in this deal, you know, this was, we kind of expected. I expected a first and a second. 2 firsts. I wasn't really expecting that. I definitely thought that would be awesome if we did. is because of Jared Goff's contract. Jared Goff is on a very large contract. I will go into depth of like what his contract is right now. So next year, he'll be making $34.95 million. 2022, he'll be making $32.95 million. 2023, he'll be making $32.45, and 2024, he'll be making $28.45. So he's on a 4-year deal, but those final 2 years of his deal are non-guaranteed. So we could cut him after 2 years of being in the Lions and not have to give him all that money. It doesn't go towards our cap hit, our cap penalty, or nothing. Like he's off the books,
which is
if we want to.
Which is literally, I honestly, the more and more I looked at us getting Jared Goff back, I was so okay with it, because I'm like, it's not like, if he plays bad, I'm okay with being bad for 2 more years. I've dealt with being bad for 10 now. Like, I can do another 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the other thing with that Jared Goff. My expectations are so much lower now for the Lions.
Right. I agree, yeah.
My tolerance for them being bad will be better. Like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't expect them to be great. They're not built to be good right now.
In the past, 5 years, I've gone into the year like, all right,
we're going to make the playoffs.
We got to try and be good this year.
Yep.
And it's just every year, no matter how much we're beginning of the season, we projected to go 3-13, doesn't matter. I'm still high hopes always, just because
we have Stafford.
No team has really tried to rebuild the line. With Mathew Stafford as your quarterback, you can't rebuild. You can't hit the reset. You can't building. You just have to try and build pieces around him. But obviously now we are hitting that reset button. Brad Holmes has made it very clear that he wants to build this team through the draft, which makes me super excited because the Detroit Lions have been a very poor drafting team for a very long time now. So
I'd love to see if Brad Holmes has an eye for talent. Like, if he can just start getting guys and we start playing well. If we win 5 games next year and we don't get a top pick, I will be okay with that, because that means Brad Holmes is already starting to figure something out with not a very good roster.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer to suck next year though. But
obviously Spencer Rattler would look really good.
I don't know. I don't really want Rattler. I mean, obviously next year is supposed to be the year that he breaks out and everything. But from what I've seen so far from Spencer Rattler, I'm good with Jared Goff for now. But yeah, Jared Goff, he's only 26 years old. Like I said, like he definitely is. It's a lot better quarterbacks than we would have gotten in return. Like in my opinion, like a Teddy Bridgewater. I much rather would have had a Jared Goff.
Me too.
Some other teams like the Indianapolis Colts, maybe. I doubt they would have given us Jacoby Brissett in return, but if so, that would have, I would rather have Jared Goff. I know that he is on, that's why we got so much draft capital in this trade, is because of Goff's horrible contract. But I'm okay with his horrible contract for now. Like, so, it's fine with me.
What would you have thought of like Jimmy G instead of Jared Goff?
I'd rather have Goff.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
Like 100%.
I thought you would be,
because I'm pretty sure Jimmy G and Jared Goff are on very, very similar contracts. I think Garoppolo's might be even worse. So I would rather have Goff because Garoppolo is pretty bad.
Me too.
I feel like Goff definitely, whether it was on the Rams or not, I feel like he still would have been a starting quarterback next year. Garoppolo, I can't say the same for. So, and then Dan Campbell also said that Jared Goff is in the Detroit Lions' future plans. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if Jared Goff comes and plays good, it's going to be awesome. But if not, it's whatever. Crazy stat here. The LA Rams will not have a first-round pick for 7 straight years. Their last time they drafted a first-round pick, guess who it was?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, yes.
I was like, 2016, I know who it is.
2016, it was Jared Goff. They will not have they didn't have one in 17, 18, 19, 20. They will also not have them in 21, 22, or 23. Involving Jalen Ramsey trade, the Jared Goff trade. They didn't own the first overall pick in that draft. They traded a lot to get it, and a couple other trades as well. So
they're building their franchise like NBA teams try to build their franchise.
And this is why I was happy with why we got 2 future firsts as well, because this Rams roster, as much as I want to root for Matt Stafford and I'm going to root for the Rams, it would be awesome to see him, win a Super Bowl. The Rams roster is not built for the future.
No.
They're in win now mode.
Oh, it's win next year or bust.
Yeah, I've said this a couple times. That 2023 first, the 2022 first, I think the Rams are definitely going to be good next year. Mm-hmm. That 2023 first, though, definitely has potential to be a good pick, like a top 15 pick, which would be awesome to have 2 of those. I mean, we're going to have 2 first-round picks the next, obviously not counting this year, but the next 2 years. Like, that is awesome.
Just two extra ones.
Yeah, which is just perfect.
We're going to have 5 new first-round rookies in the next 3 years. Like, first-round draft pick worthy rookies.
Yeah.
It's going to be, like, do you know how many young guys are around to root
Based
for?
on a new GM that is known, the only reason he got hired is for being a good scout, college scout, and knowing talent when he sees it. So
I'm so excited for the Lions' future. Everybody else should be too. There's no reason to be upset as a Lions fan right now in this moment.
A couple other teams that made offers to the Lions for Stafford that came out was the 49ers, the Colts, the Panthers, the Broncos, and the Washington football team. Kind of some more intriguing ones. The Panthers did offer us pick 8 in this year's draft, which is interesting. We would have pick 7 and 8, which is really like, that's intriguing, but I think it involved us giving up another pick, and I think all we got was pick 8 and like a third. Washington apparently offered us an offer that was more tilted toward help us right now, which I'm cool with not taking that. You know?
Yeah, we don't need help right now. We're not going to win right now.
I don't know about the Niners or Colts, but the Colts, really, I will say that if they don't make a trade for Deshaun Watson,
they messed.
They really struck out.
Yep.
Which I do think that they are kind of the front runners to trade for Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, because I just thought they were going to trade for Stafford. The Rams was not really what I expected at all.
If they don't get anybody, it's really not going to look good.
I mean, they have to get someone. I feel like, yeah.
I mean, they have to get a quarterback.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett is there, but like I don't think he's going to be the starter of a playoff team for them.
It'd be a really disappointing offseason for the fan base.
Yeah, the Colts and I think they will, but like I said, we'll see the 49ers, because like we said, there's several teams that still need a QB, and a lot of them don't really need to be drafting one either. They're in more of a spot where they can sign a guy who's going to be the quarterback for the next 3-4 years, a guy like Matt Stafford. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything else about this Stafford trade that you want to talk about?
I'm just really excited for everything.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for the future.
Stafford jersey, I will be
getting the Rams.
I will
jersey.
be ordering that. So, yeah, maybe Jared Goff jersey too.
I probably won't get one of those. Not that I dislike him, but
well, yeah. So talking about the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus Bucks, Super Bowl 55. We talked about it a little bit last time, but we're just gonna kind of make our predictions for it. I want to make a score prediction as well, maybe a Super Bowl MVP prediction. But first off, I just want to say, like, who do you think is gonna win? Like, as far like I'm not saying you have to say your score right now, but just like right now, who do you think is more like favored to win?
Who do I think is more? Oh, it's the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are by
have a better
far.
chance at winning. Is kind of what I meant to say.
Wow, dude, this is such a difficult Super Bowl because I have the people who all year I've been, for the most part, all year the Bucks I've been praising until like later in the season where I was just like, they're not that great. And they proved me wrong and proved me right, I guess, at the earlier part of the season. But this year, all year I've been saying Tom Brady just isn't that great. He's just not playing that well. And he just proved me wrong. He's been playing well. In the championship game, he didn't really play that well. 3 picks. I mean, that's not very good.
I mean, the Bucks are in this position because of their defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And then you have Kansas City, who I've been praising all year as the best team. So it's really tough because I don't want to bet against Tom anymore, and I do it every year. Every year I say it's Tom's year where he's not. Everybody does it. I don't want to bet against Tom anymore. I think the Chiefs are going to win. Rooting for the Bucks. I'm really excited for the Super Bowl. I don't have a score prediction right now off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, we can think of one, but I mean, the thing about the Chiefs is the odds aren't looking like, obviously they're the better team, but. No, there is very rare that a team goes back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Like, it just does not happen very often. So it would be historic for them to do that, and they definitely are on track to, just because they're a great team. We've talked about this several times, but for the Bucks to pull out the upset and win this game, they have to own the time of possession in this game. They have to really have long drives, like take up a lot of time in this game. I expect a lot of touches from Fournette and Ronald Jones. Fournette had a lot of touches in their game last week.
The best part about this is it fits Tom Brady's play style. Like the time of possession game fits his play style. Quick slants, curl routes, middle of the field.
Yeah,
it's a perfect game for Tom Brady to beat the Chiefs.
And obviously, it's going to come down to, can he not make mistakes? I mean, yeah, he has been playing good, but he also turned the ball over several times in their last game, and that's something that against a Chiefs team, you cannot do. They'll make you pay for it. As they're all, especially if depending on where you turn the ball over at. And then for the Bucs, their defense has been spectacular. They've been forcing turnovers like no other in the playoffs, and they need to at least one crucial turnover for the Bucs defense. Like I'm talking a pick inside the Chiefs' own 20-yard line, setting your offense up, or just a fumble
or even
or
goal
something.
line, goal line stop.
Yeah, just some sort of turnover that gives the Bucs offense momentum to come down and score off of it.
Yeah, I think this game's gonna be a lot about momentum. Because if you see Tom Brady throw a pick, you better bet that Kansas City's gonna come out with all the momentum when you see that. So Tampa Bay's defense has got to come ready because they are the backbone of this team. That's just the way it is.
And I don't know who to root for. Like I said, I'm not really rooting for anyone. If I am I'm kind of rooting for the Bucs. They're the underdog. Tom Brady going for his 7th ring, first year on a new team. It would be pretty crazy. But at the same time, like I like the Chiefs, and it would be cool to see them go back to back. Young Mahomes, this great trio that they have offensively, one of the best offenses that I've ever got to see in the NFL. Whoever wins this game, I'm not going to be upset about whoever wins, but I'm probably going to root for the Bucs a little bit.
Another reason like I've been rooting for the Bucs is I remember last year, like on the school bus, we always had conversations about whether or not Tom Brady is going to be good in Tampa, and or if he was a system QB, the classic system QB.
Yeah.
And I was always, he's not a system QB. That is like I was a believer that term doesn't even exist. Like system, what's the system? Winning is what I always said. Like, is this system to win games? Because he's a system QB then. So he's proven everybody wrong that he was. I mean, that was always the narrative with Tom Brady, is that he was a system QB. And now he goes to the Bucs in 1 year, and what's the system?
Yeah,
what system is he in? So that's a reason I'm rooting for Tom, just to break the narrative of him being a system.
It's kind of like what Danny Amendola said the other day too, that the Patriot way left New England when Tom Brady did. That's what he said. He said the Patriot way doesn't exist. It's Tom Brady. He's the reason that. And he was kind of hating on New England and everything. I don't think his relationship with New England ended well. So
it probably didn't after Matt Patricia, especially.
Well, yeah, but it's Tom Brady definitely just gets a lot of unnecessary hate, which I've always been someone that I think you should appreciate greatness. I'm not saying that it's like me with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not my favorite player ever, but I appreciate greatness, and I definitely think that if you think he's the greatest basketball player ever, you're probably right. I just have a different opinion, So
yeah, no, absolutely.
You need to appreciate greatness when you see it, and
I can't hate on greatness. It's not in me.
Okay, so who do you expect this game to be, like a shootout or no?
I expect it to be like,
because I could see it going either way.
I could see it being like a late 20s, early 30s game is what I expect, but not a shootout, not like a 40-40.
See, I just don't see each team getting the ball enough times to score like 31-28.
So you think like
game.
the Bucs.
I'm thinking like a 21-17 type game, maybe 24-21. But I mean, because it could happen. Like because I just think the Bucs are going to try to run them down, like just hold the ball for as long as they can.
And they're
don't
let
the Chiefs' offense get on the field. And it's not like every team is going to score on every time they have the ball. Like
the Bucs will get
the
stops.
Chiefs' defense isn't bad either. Like they're a good defense too. The Bucs' defense is better, but all right. We got to pick a prediction for it.
I'm gonna go 24-27. Final score. Bucs. No,
say the winner score first, because it confuses me when you say the loser first.
Yep. I'll go Chiefs. That's my prediction. Chiefs 27, Bucs 24.
Chiefs 27, Bucs 24. All right. I am going to go. I'm going to take. I'm going to take the Bucs over the Chiefs. I'm going to go Bucs 24, Chiefs 20. That's going to be my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, 24-20.
Man, 2 touchdowns out of the Chiefs.
I mean, it could be 3 and a missed extra point.
Yeah,
you never
I guess.
know. Going for it.
I only had one more touchdown.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously, I want to pick a random score, but it's hard to just like 26-19. Like, that ain't going to happen.
Well, that's still a random score.
Yeah.
What you just said is a score. It's kind of a.
It's more realistic than 26-19.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with the Bucs. For Super Bowl MVP, I'll go Brady, but I would not be surprised if it went to one of the running backs. Like I could really see Fournette or Ronald Jones Either one of that, because Fournette got more touches last week than Ronald Jones, but I could see one of them taking home Super Bowl MVP.
And I got Mahomes.
But I feel like if the Bucs win, they have to give it to Brady. Unless someone on the defense goes nuts too, gets like 2 picks. Imagine if it was like Murphy Bunting out of CMU.
Oh man, that'd be nuts.
That would be crazy.
I'm taking Mahomes because whether it's
I'm gonna check the video.
Travis Kelce has a touchdown and 100 yards, or Tyreek Hill has a touchdown and 100 yards, or both of them do. That's still two. That's 2 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes with 200 yards. So I'm going with Mahomes doing the MVP.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a great. One thing too I want to say about I don't remember who I was talking this about the other day, but I really think that next year Ronald Jones is going to be like a stud running back for the Bucs because Fournette's going to be gone. Ronald Jones is still pretty young. He's a great pass catcher. I think he's going to be nuts next year. But that's just kind of a random thing.
Yeah. I think so too. I think most people would think Ronald Jones is going to be nuts. I thought one thing that I was completely wrong on, I drafted Leonard Fournette in my fantasy draft. Like late, I drafted him. And I thought he was going to be like a really good running back this year in fantasy. And I was just so wrong on that. But it was a good thought. It made sense at the time.
Not really, though. I mean, Ronald Jones was always going to be the number 1 there no matter what.
Yeah.
They didn't really need Fournette, really. Like, obviously he's done good for them, but they also just didn't really even need to pick him up. Any more Super Bowl stuff or you want to talk about? So before we get into this NBA discussions, got to talk about Michigan State. Last time we talked about them was last Saturday after their horrible loss to Rutgers. Sunday, they took on the number 13th ranked Ohio State team, and they were just losing like the whole game. They ended up losing by like 10, but it wasn't really much of a game. And then last night, they took on Iowa and played pretty well. I will say, like I was happy to see State play well, but they lost, and it's just like, I know that it's a nice sight to see them play well again, but they also have lost 2 in a row, and they were 2-6 in the Big Ten coming into this game. So like we needed a win, no matter who you're playing against, you got to win that game. But I am happy they played well. Aaron Henry had 24. This team just really lacks a good center. They really do just have struggle at center, and this team also is really struggling figuring out their guard positions because Rocket Watts did not play well. Foster Lawyer didn't really play very well either. So it's just this. I'm starting to get worried about State.
I think this team also has an issue scoring the ball in general.
Well, obviously.
That's what I think they lack a clear score.
Yeah. I mean that obviously, yeah, but I don't know. They're weird. I don't know if they're gonna make the tournament. I really don't. They're 2-7 in the Big Ten, which is not good at all. Wait, are they 2-7 now? Or are they? Yeah, they're 2-7.
I didn't want to say it. I was gonna wait for you to say it, but I really don't think they are. I mean, I just don't know how at this point. I think they have to win the Big Ten tournament.
And they could just start rolling off a bunch of wins too, because I mean, this is a weird year, and there's a lot of teams that are not that good.
But is that realistic?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, me either.
Like it sucks to watch State be like this because I just really thought that this was going to be a great. I wasn't expecting State to be like insane this year or anything, but with Cash and Xavier leaving, I thought that this was really the time for Rocket and Aaron Henry to really just like become the next great Michigan State basketball players, and they haven't. Aaron Henry has been pretty good this year. But he has not been the star that I thought he was going to be. Like you said, this team really struggles offensively. Last night they did play pretty well. They shot the ball extremely well, which is very weird because they are not a very good three-point shooting team this year. But their defense has kind of just been the only part that's pretty good. They did a decent job against Garza last night, but I mean it's hard to stop him when
towards the end he started just getting his buckets like he will.
And when you don't have, and me and Jagger talk about this a lot. This team is missing Xavier Tillman more than it's missing Cassius Winston. And I will 100,000% stand by that because Xavier Tillman ran our defense. He was such a great defensive player and also was a guy who would get so many offensive rebounds and put back opportunities in the paint. If someone drives, he's always there to kick it to and get a dunk. We're just missing that. And it's just not good for State.
And I think the big disappointment isn't, Rocket Watts is really disappointing this year.
He just has not been able to make that transition to the point guard position,
No.
which is very difficult to do for a person that he's never played point guard. At Spire, he had Mellow Ball playing point guard, so he tried to make that transition. It didn't work.
There's lots of room for improvement, but there's also a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. You have a great recruiting class coming in
the next 2 years.
This isn't going to stay. This isn't going to be a permanent thing. You still have Izzo. So there's just, you're going to have a bad year every once in a while. And I think this is the bad year.
And I never really have watched State be bad. They have years where they're not very good and they'll be the 8 or 9 seed in the tournament, but
bad enough to
I don't
miss
think
the
I've
tournament.
ever watched State miss the tournament. No, I could not name the last time they missed the tournament. It was probably early 2000s if I had to take a guess. I like 2002.
Me and Parker looked it up. I feel like it was 1998. That might have been Duke.
No, it wasn't because they won it in '99. So
okay,
they would have made it. I'm pretty sure it was early 2000s they missed it, but yeah. I mean, it's just this, and also I would definitely, as a Michigan fan, this would worry me. The fact that State has not been playing well because of the break. I mean, that 2 week, that 2.5 week break that State did not get to play basketball really hurt this team. And Michigan, I hope it doesn't affect them the same way, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I'm really hoping it doesn't, because we were playing so well before that break. So well. I was so excited to get home and watch Michigan basketball. And I now know your pain. Yeah. I haven't watched Michigan play in a while, and I just can't.
State didn't play forever, and it was just so. And I didn't know how bad the break was going to affect us, and I should have realized they're not just not playing, they're not practicing.
Yeah.
They're not even allowed to practice, so they can probably go work out by themselves and stuff, but.
And that's huge. I never thought about that, because that's time where Rocket could be getting adjusted.
Yeah. Michigan can't practice either, so yeah. But it is a lot different because Michigan was playing very high level basketball before, so it probably won't affect them as much as it affected State, but
yeah, I hope not, but it could. It very well could, and I could be sitting in the same chair you are right now.
So are we ready to talk about the NBA? Do we want to talk about the standings and everything first, or we just want to get right into the All-Stars?
We can go All-Star then standings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So let's do it. If you did not know, the NBA All-Star voting has started. You can go vote online, and on Twitter you can vote by retweeting stuff. Vote Jeremy Grant for All-Star game, please. That would be awesome. But anyways, there's 12 All-Stars for each conference. The 5 starters includes 2 guards and 3 front court players, which is forward/center. And then off the bench, it's 2 guards, 3 front court players, and then the final 2 spots are wild card spots, so they can be any player, any position. This is the All-Star format is really weird because it's certain players fall under different positions. We did all our positions based off Basketball Reference like we usually do, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So.
Yep.
Are we ready to hop into it?
I'm
and
ready.
This is as if the All-Star voting, if the All-Star game was tomorrow and the All-Stars got picked tonight. Not if we're not predicting what the All-Stars are going to be in a month. This is just if the season, if the All-Star game started right now, who are the All-Stars of the league? So do we want to start in the East or West?
West.
West? All right, let's do it. So give me your first starting guard in the West.
My first starting at point guard, is Damian Lillard. He's been nuts this year. Portland has not been. Injury bug hit him again. We've talked about him multiple times. They've just been solid, so it's Dame Lillard.
I mean, it's not a point guard and shooting guard.
I know, it's
starts,
guards.
But
I know.
Okay, but what did that have to do with Portland?
I'm just saying Portland's not been very good this year.
What did that have to do with Steph? Did you say Steph Curry?
No.
Oh, I thought you said Steph Curry.
No, I said Dame. I said Dame Lillard.
For some reason, I thought you said Steph Curry.
No, Dame Lillard.
So, yeah.
I mean, Curry is my other guard.
I'll just say that. I have Steph and Dame as my 2 guards, too. Dame's averaging 29.1, 7.3 assists, shooting 37% from downtown. Not bad. Steph Curry has been playing really well. 28 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting 41% from 3. Yeah, I mean, you can make a case for a couple other guys, but those are what I have as my guards as well.
My front court, I've got a guy in here that I didn't double check on Basketball Reference, but he's a forward to me. I think of him as a forward. So my front court is Kawhi, Bron, and Jokic.
Okay, yeah, those are my exact 3 as I have too. One thing I wanted to say about Dame is I think a reason why he deserves to start in the All-Star game this year is because once again, the injuries have just been hurting Portland, and they're still 11-9 in the playoffs right now. So Dame is once again having to put the team on his back with all these injuries, and I think that's why he deserves to start. But yeah, I also have Kawhi and LeBron and Jokic as the 3 front court players. Jokic, probably the MVP of the league so far, averaging 27, 12, 8.5, shooting 38% from 3 as well. Bron averaging 25, 7.5 for rebounds and assists, shooting 41% from 3. Kawhi's been playing really well too.
Kawhi is, like you said last year, we're underrated Kawhi. Kawhi is just so quietly good all the time.
Oh yeah, he's super. He's averaging 26, 5, and 5.
Like he's just, and you haven't heard a word about him.
Shooting
this year.
40% from 3.
Haven't heard a word about him.
50% from the field. He might be 50, 40, 90. I doubt his free throws are 90, but still,
he's there. He's close.
Yeah.
You ready to move on to the bench?
Yeah.
So my bench guards, I have Luka Doncic and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is strictly that backup guard. I originally had Chris Paul over him as that backup guard, but Donovan Mitchell's on the best team in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
He has to be a backup at least.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for him not to be.
Yeah, my 2 guards off the bench are the same exact ones, too. I have Luka and Donovan Mitchell. I thought of a couple other guys other than Donovan Mitchell, but like you said, Utah's the number 1 seed in the West right now.
That's the only all-star I'm giving
And he's the best player on the team. Luka is almost averaging a triple-double, but, man, Luka's shooting under 30% from 3 this year, and he's turned the ball over a lot as well. Luka definitely averages the numbers to be an all-star starter, but his team is also 8-13 right now, third to last place in the West. Dallas might have. They're gonna have to do something at the deadline or something.
Yeah, they have to do something.
They have to make trade. That team went from a great offensive team, and they just cannot shoot anymore. They miss.
No.
They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA.
I think they're really after watching Seth Curry change the way Philadelphia is playing.
Yeah,
and Philadelphia is playing insane right now, just because of his floor spacing. I mean, we're seeing the effect that it has taken away from a team.
And it's just I know that Josh Richardson is a much better defender and everything, but I mean, looking back at it, that trade was won by Philly 100%.
Oh, 100%.
But at the time, it really looked like a win-win for both sides. But
it looked like, it did. It looked like the win-win, and then Philly has skyrocketed to the top, and Dallas has just collapsed.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell averaging 23 points, 4.5 assists, 4 rebounds, shooting 40% from downtown. He's, like we said, best player or best team in the league right now. Definitely has to be an all-star.
So
give me
front court.
Yeah, just give me all 3 of the front court ones.
My front court, I have Paul George, Anthony Davis, who hasn't been playing great this year. He hasn't been unbelievable, and Cat as my 3 front court members.
How many games has Cat played?
I don't know, but I know it's because of the COVID thing. I know that
he's only played
COVID.
5 games probably this year.
You think?
Yeah, because I have him in fantasy.
I could throw another guy in there.
Cat will work, but I just don't think he would, just because he's barely played at all this year. But yeah, I have AD and Paul George as well, and then I put Rudy Gobert on here.
And I've got Gobert as a snub.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on putting Rudy Gobert on my list, but I have 2 All-Stars for the Clippers and the Lakers, 2 teams that are lower than the Jazz, so I don't see why they can't have 2 as well. Gobert is averaging 13 points, 13 rebounds, averaging 2.7 blocks, which is a career high. I've never been a huge Rudy Gobert fan, but his impact on defense is really it's
clear.
Huge. Yeah,
it's obvious.
He obviously runs that defense. Did get 47.
I was just gonna say
by Jokic.
He did not have a good defensive showing a couple games ago.
Yeah, but Paul George making his return to the All-Star game. He's shooting 45% from 3 this year, which is nuts. Anthony Davis really isn't putting up as crazy numbers as he was last year. He's only averaging 22 and 8, which is not bad. It's definitely not bad numbers, but he just is not really doing what we thought he would, be an MVP type player this year. So who do we got? Who do you got as your last 2 wild card spots?
First one, Brandon Ingram, 23, 5 and 5 this year. He's been playing so well. You're super high on him. I'm getting there. He's legit. Is this his first All-Star game?
No, he made it last year.
He made it last year?
Yep.
And then last guy off the bench, Chris Paul. Not only is he playing well this year again, best player on the Suns, but he's also a staple of the All-Star game at this point.
Yeah.
He is an All-Star.
So for my last 2 wild card spots, it was tough because I had 4 guys that I kind of wanted really bad to put in here. I put Brandon Ingram on here. I wasn't going to because they are 7-12. They're not a very good team at all. But Zion is also an all-star talk, so I figured one of them will probably make it, and Brandon Ingram definitely deserves it over him. And then for my other wild card spot, it came down to whether it was Chris Paul or Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. They're 11-8. They could get 2 all-stars. It wouldn't surprise me, but I went with Devin Booker just because, Chris Paul's a 10-time all-star. Devin Booker's a 1-time all-star. I feel like they would give it to Booker over Chris Paul, but if you take Chris Paul over him, I definitely don't disagree with it at all. But yeah, Booker's averaging 23, 4 assists. He's shooting the ball pretty decently, 35%. One guy who was my main snub other than Chris Paul, though, was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I was going to put him over Brandon Ingram. I had it written down, and then I thought about it, and I was just like, no, that's just not right.
No.
Shai averages 22, 5, and 6 this year, shooting 51% from the field. And his team has been hovering around 500 all year. So it's not like it's unrealistic to him to make the All-Star game. But
some other notable guys I've got missing. CJ just isn't here.
Yeah. If he didn't get injured, he would have made it.
De'Aaron Fox is having a good year, and Jamal Murray isn't having a bad year, but he's having a solid year. But he's another guy that a lot of people I think expected to be an All-Star this year.
Yeah, at least
he's
be in All-Star
right
talks. Now.
Yeah. Christian Wood, who's playing unbelievable right now, he isn't quite to that level.
Yeah.
He's not on that level of All-Star. He's not even a household name yet. And most,
right.
other than Sabonis, I can think last year Sabonis wasn't a household name as an All-Star.
Bam really wasn't probably
Bam
either,
wasn't.
But other than that, it's about it.
You have to almost be a household name.
And then I threw DeRozan on the snubs just because, the Spurs are playing well, and he's the best player on that team. I threw Ja Morant on there too, but he's just another guy that hasn't really played that much this year, so that's why I didn't include him. If Ja, has played more games, he would probably make it over Brandon Ingram, in my opinion, but...
He might,
just because this team is bad. This team is number 6 in the West.
Good point. The East, this was way harder.
East is way harder. We can go in depth a little bit more instead of just naming them all off.
Yeah.
But, the East is really hard. It is so difficult. The East is crazy because you think about it. Last year, just guys who are at least, I'm not spoiling my list or anything, but guys that are in the East now. Harden's in the East. KD's in the East. Kyrie wasn't an All-Star last year because of injury. Bradley Beal got snubbed last year. We know he's not getting snubbed this year. Russell Westbrook is in the East now. The emergence of a lot of young stars in the East with Jaylen Brown and
Julius Randle,
Zach LaVine, Bam Adebayo's still here.
Sabonis.
It's crazy.
There are so many good. Colin Sexton's emerged.
Colin Sexton, Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant. Obviously, I doubt he's on your list, but still, I don't know.
There are some nuts. You almost have a whole nother all-star team on the bench. Just sitting that didn't make it.
Yeah.
You want me to do the 2 guards first?
Yep, let's start off with the 2 guards in the East. Starting guards.
Kyrie Irving and Bradley Beal. Kyrie has been unbelievable this year when he's played. And even in the big 3, he scored 14 in the fourth quarter the other night.
Yeah. That Nets-Clippers game was nuts the other night.
And that's nuts that Kyrie was the guy who scored 14. I know somebody's got to do it, but we viewed him as the third option. He didn't look like the third option last night at all.
And he definitely has the ball in his hands the least, though. That is so I honestly would still say he's the third option because even though Harden scores the least out of all of them, he has the ball in his hands the most out of all of them. And Harden or Kyrie and KD do a lot of coming off screens and Harden gets them open. So my 2 guards are not Kyrie and Bradley Beal. I have James Harden and Bradley Beal. Yep. James Harden is averaging 24 points with 11 assists right now, and he's probably going to average 12 assists at the end of the season. He will for sure be he will win the assist title this year.
He's never had guys to pass the ball like this.
I don't think he has gotten less than 10 assists in a game. I think he's probably gotten a double-double every game as a net this year.
Probably.
Averaging that 46% from the field, 6.7 rebounds. And then Bradley Beal, obviously, 35 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting almost 50% from the field.
Probably going to win the scoring title.
He got snubbed last year, so there's no way he will miss it this year. And even though his team is 4-13, making them the worst record in the NBA, he will probably still be an all-star starter.
Oh, probably. There's no way he's not an all-star starter.
Oh, no,
right?
he'll start.
He has to.
And Harden, obviously he's in the East now, and he was in the West, but Harden will make the all-star game, and Brooklyn will have all 3 of them make it. So let's go to the 3 front court starters.
3 front court starters I actually think are really obvious. I got KD, Giannis, and Embiid.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
The bench is where it gets really difficult.
Yeah.
KD's numbers are insane
Nuts.
this year. Listen to this stat line that KD's averaging. 30.8 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 53% from the field and 45% from downtown. He's averaging 31 a game with Harden and Kyrie.
Their efficiency as a trio is nuts.
Yeah. Did you know that Kyrie, Harden, and KD, I don't know in what order, all three of them are top 3 in the NBA in points in the fourth quarter.
That's insane.
All 3 of them. Like
how does that even work?
Out of players in the NBA, yeah.
How
the
does
Nets
that work?
are first by scoring in the NBA, like by a huge margin. It's nuts.
They should be. Like this team, I honestly, the more I watch them, like watching them beat the Clippers.
That was just a super fun game, yeah.
Super fun game. And it was one of those things where like, man, is their offense just that good? Can anybody else keep up?
Do they need a good defense?
Do they need a good
And this
defense?
whole Andre Drummond buyout stuff, I hope that doesn't happen.
I want to see this team roll.
I mean, obviously this team isn't finished, and they definitely do need to make a trade or two just to get a couple smaller pieces, but if Drummond gets bought out, that is just dumb. Like he's not to that quality of a player.
No, he's still their starting big man.
Yeah, like the top buyout player last year was like Reggie Jackson. You know, like
or was it Jeff Green? Did Jeff Green get bought out last year?
He might have gotten bought out, but
Marcus Morris, one of them.
No, he was in a trade.
Oh, he was in a trade.
Markeith was in a trade. Yeah, Markeith was bought out by the Pistons. Yeah, so like, but think about how much better Drummond is.
Drummond is like,
yeah.
I mean, he's a borderline all-star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
He's on the border. Dude, you gonna cut him?
And I don't know. I mean, I don't think Cleveland will too because they're still in the playoffs right now.
Good.
So, and obviously he's not in their future plans or anything. Hopefully they just trade him because, but I don't know. There's not many teams that can make a trade, contending teams. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's get to the 2 guards off of the bench in the East.
2 guards. I've got the guy you started. I've got James Harden. And then I've got the emerging superstar, Jaylen Brown, starting at the 2. These 2 guys are nuts. Jaylen Brown has emerged as a star this year, an actual star. If he keeps this up, I don't know. I don't know where I was going, but like, he's unbelievable. He's so good this year. So good. Bradley Beal's just been a lot better, and Kyrie Irving's been better, and Harden's even been better.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to
issue.
start Jaylen Brown. Like I don't think it would really take a lot for him to start unless they, Jaylen Brown's another one of those guys that is he a guard or forward? Who knows? He is classified as a guard on Basketball Reference, so I have Jaylen Brown and Kyrie. So I guess we just had Kyrie and Harden swapped. Yeah, Jaylen Brown's averaging 26.5 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting 52% from the field and 43% from downtown. Unreal. Kyrie's averaging 28, almost 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 53% from the field and 45 from downtown. Like they are just their shooting numbers.
Those
are unreal. Like just crazy numbers.
Granted, we are only 20 games in season. This is only a 72 game.
Yeah, like they're almost a third of the way through the season, which is
still shooting 45% from the field from 3.
It's pretty crazy. These 2 guys are definitely like these weren't the hard ones. These guys will make the All-Star game for sure.
The front court and
the wild cards are the tough one, or like the front court off the bench and the wild card spots are really tough.
The front court
let's just name so your first front court off the bench, like the one that you think is that we should both have on here, like one that like not your most like toughest one to pick.
My number 1 guy.
Yeah,
Tatum.
Yep, I have Tatum as well. Averaging 27 and 7. Shooting 43% from downtown. Him and Jaylen Brown last year, it was kind of like who's going to make the All-Star game, Tatum or Brown. Tatum got it over him.
This year,
I definitely think they'll both make it this year. Boston is 11-8, top 4 seed in the East. So
confidently can say top 7 duo in the NBA.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Probably,
confident.
Probably. So. Who do you have as another
the next guy that I think you will have too is Sabonis.
I have Sabonis as well. Yeah, 21 points. His numbers are crazy too. 21 points, 12 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 56% from the field, and he's shooting 35% from downtown for a guy who doesn't really shoot threes very well, at least in the past. He's been a beast this year. Indiana Pacers have been pretty good as well. There's, they might have 2 All-Stars as well. You never know. I mean, we'll see when we get to it, but
This next guy,
last front court member off the bench.
that's off the bench, front court member, not wild card, is a guy that I think could also just miss it and not even make it. And that's Julius Randle. The revival of the career of Julius Randle. Yeah, the Knicks are good again. You're looking at New York, the hub.
They're not that good. They're 9-13.
But I mean, they're still like way better than everybody expected them to be.
I guess.
And he's averaging what? 22.
I didn't write.
He's
down
averaging
Randall's.
like 22.
I didn't
22
write
a
down
game.
his numbers. Yeah.
22 and 10.
No, he's definitely a. I just didn't expect you to actually have him on here. I just thought he would be a snub. Yeah, I don't have Julius Randle. I put Bam Adebayo as one of my front court members. The Heat aren't very good either. They're 7-13, but Bam is averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting almost 60% from the field, and one of the better defenders in the NBA as well. So, Bam, I definitely, I think I can say this confidently. Jimmy Butler probably will not make the All-Star game this year.
No, he won't.
He has barely played this year, and when he has, he's been pretty all right. He's only averaging like 17 points a game. But hopefully Bam can make his return to the All-Star game after making it for the first time last year.
And my wild cards.
Give me one of them.
One of them. The one that I think I guess my wild card's different than your wild card. I've got Bam as a wild card.
Okay. So you think Randall's better than Bam? Is that what you mean by that then?
No, I think Randall's like the all-star this year out of the two of them. I don't think that.
I know, I'm just kidding. My first wild card, these were tough.
These are so hard. I've got a guy getting snubbed who is nuts at basketball.
My first wild card is Trae Young. Trae Young this year is averaging a lot better numbers than people would think, probably. He's averaging 27 points per game, 9 assists, 4.2 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field, 36 from downtown. And, Atlanta had a poor start to the year, but they're at number 6 in the East right now. So I definitely think they deserve to have an all-star, especially because last year they sucked and Trae Young was an all-star starter. So I'm putting Trae Young back in it this year.
And this is my last guy. I don't have Trae Young.
Really? No Trae Young, no Ice Trae.
This is a guy.
But Julius Randle makes it over him.
Front court.
Well, you can switch Bam and Julius and then put Trae in at the wild card.
I guess I could have done that. But even I'm Ben Simmons.
Is your last guy?
Yeah. There's no way 76ers don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been unreal this year, blowing. I shouldn't say everybody's expectations. Some expectations were really high, but it was just they've completely turned around everything. You can play Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid together. It works. You can do it. So I have Simmons as my last guy.
Yeah, I had Simmons as my last guy, and I had him written in, and then I I was like, wait, this guy needs to get in over him. So I did not put Ben Simmons in. But I should. I mean, it's tough to think that Philly doesn't get 2. They probably should. But, I mean, Ben Simmons averaging 13 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists.
A lot of things he does just
great defensive player, but he's not a scorer, and he really hasn't been. I will be honest when I say this. I'm a Ben Simmons fan, but he has really not been that good this year.
No.
He's been good, but not as good as he was last year.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But my last guy in the All-Star game, like I said, I wasn't gonna. I was going to put Ben Simmons in over him. I'm really surprised you did not have this guy making it, honestly, and it's Zach LaVine.
No, that's the guy who I think is nuts.
Averaging 26.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 51% from the field, 42% from downtown. Hard to imagine that he doesn't make it. And the reason why I put him in was because Chicago really isn't that bad. They're 8-11 at the 10 seed in the East right now, and they're 2 games out from being the 6 seed. So I included him because he kind of got snubbed last year. He was just one of the highlight snubs, and I figured might as well put him in this year. Couple snubs that I have. The top 3 were Ben Simmons, Pascal Siakam, kind of weird. No Toronto Raptors making it, and Nikola Vucevic were my 3 main snubs. And then I wrote down a bunch of other ones.
My 3 is Trae Young, LaVine. And then probably Chris Middleton.
Yeah, and for my
the Bucks,
other ones,
I have the Bucks with 1 all-star.
Yeah, exactly. Middleton will probably make it. All my other snubs, I had Middleton, Brogdon, Randall, Colin Sexton, Drummond, Russell Westbrook, Gordon Hayward, and Jeremy Grant. I wrote down just all of them dudes.
And Gordon Hayward could get it.
Yeah, like Gordon Hayward and Brandon Ingram are averaging like the almost exact same numbers this year.
And the Hornets aren't bad.
No, they're not. Their Hornets are sitting at number 8 right now at 10 and 11. So, yeah, the All-Star game is going to be weird. It sucks to say, but there'll probably be an injury to one of these guys that will make it a little easier for the committee to pick. But yeah, the East is really tough. Like I don't know. It's really tough.
The East, there are so many good players who are going to be watching from their couches.
Mm-hmm. Oh
like,
yeah,
so many good players.
Oh yeah, it's just unfortunate that it has to happen like that.
Because it used to be like that way in the West, where it was just like, I mean, the whole thing has been switched. You got to think Westbrook is now in the East. Harden, KD, like those are 3 new guys, and 2 of them are going to make it. But that means 2 other former All-Stars are going to be sitting out watching.
And I just remember last year too, like when Devin Booker got snubbed before the Dame Lillard injury, before he did end up making it. Everyone was like, this is the only year that Devin Booker's going to have a chance at making it, because next year you have Steph and Clay both coming back from injury, and then on top of that you still have Harden, Luka, Dame, with only 4 guard spots guaranteed. Like,
it's tough.
Booker doesn't fall into that, but this year, obviously, it's a lot different with everything that's happened in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that pretty much it?
I think that pretty much wraps up the All-Star conversation.
Yeah, so hopefully that the All-Star game does happen. I mean, I would love to see it, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. Like I said, Saturday we are probably going to be doing our second Jeopardy episode. We're going to have Tebow and then returning champion Scuba back on. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I'll be hosting that episode. So Sandal will be competing. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm super excited.
It'll be a lot of fun again. I'm really excited. He's excited. It should be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that wraps it up.
Yep, peace.
Peace.